Hello neighbor, this is Curt with eTrailer, and today we're taking a look at the Yakima TimberLine roof rack system on our 2024 Toyota 4Runner. Now, if you have any experience with this roof rack system from Yakima, or if you have any questions about it, please leave it in the comments below. We'd love to take those questions and those stories and share them with our other neighbors in order to help them make the best decision for themselves. Now, if you're the owner of a Toyota 4Runner, my guess would be that you have a bit of an adventurous side to you. And in order to get out there on some of those journeys, there are going to be times where you may need to carry some things with you that you either can't fit or don't want inside of your 4Runner. And that's where a roof rack system is going to come in really handy. A roof rack system can carry things that you can't fit in here, such as kayaks, skis or snowboards, or a cargo box that's going to allow you to carry items that you otherwise can't fit inside the vehicle. There is a third row that you can open up, so another reason that you'd need the extra cargo space is if you're carrying the full set of passengers in the vehicle. And having them up here is a bit more out of the way in certain cases than using a hitch cargo carrier, where you've really got to be aware of your surroundings when you're parking it or backing into those tighter spaces. So in order to get this up on the roof here, it's a really simple installation process, which we will be walking you through. You have a 165-pound capacity on this roof rack. However, it's always a good idea to double check your owner's manual and make sure that your roof has a capacity of at least 165 pounds. If it doesn't, then your capacity is going to be whatever your manual tells you it's going to be. Now let's get up on top and see how this is fitting on our 4Runner. Now, one of the first things you might notice up here on top of the 4Runner is that the rails don't extend the entire length of the car. As a matter of fact, they're way more biased toward the back end of the car. The furthest point forward that we could mount the bars is actually about halfway through your second row door. Usually the front set of bars can come up as far as, the front door seam. Not so on the 4Runner. That being said though, because we have a raised rail system, we can mount our crossbars really anywhere that we need them to go. So in this case, we mounted our front bar as far as we could to the front, and we mounted our second bar to give us about a 28.5-inch spread. And that's a good area to be. 26 to 30 inches can accommodate most, if not all, rooftop accessories as far as a spread. We can get this as wide as 38 or 39 inches, however, if we want to put them as far apart as possible. And one of the other things that we want to pay attention to when we're up here is how much clearance do we have between our roof and the bottom of the bars. In our case, we're getting almost 3.5 inches underneath here. That's actually quite a bit of clearance. But that is something we want to keep in mind, especially when we're using our clamp-on accessories. We want to make sure that we're going to avoid anything that might be going on under here. The good news, though, about us being able to mount it so far back is that if you do have a sunroof or moonroof, it really shouldn't obstruct it at all being this far back. Now, once you've got these installed, you're going to have up to 50 inches of usable bar space for yourself. So it is going to have a slight overhang. It does not leave a lot of room on the outside of the towers for any kind of a clamp mount. I'd probably be a little wary about doing that here. But you do have the track mount to be able to use for the entire 50-inch length. One of the other things that I want to point out with an overhang, a lot of people get worried about, oh, if it overhangs, will I hit my head? Well, in the case of the 50-inch bar model, no, I don't think you will. The door threshold pretty much lines right up with it. So even if you're a much taller person, you really shouldn't be in any trouble of hitting your head on this without hitting your head on the actual vehicle first. And while we're in the neighborhood here, I wanted to point out this gap that you see right here. These straps on these towers are really meant to accommodate a lot of different makes and models as far as being able to fit goes. So this tower, it doesn't really fit any rails perfectly. So if you see that and you think it should be seated kind of perfectly cushioned in this corner, that's not the intended way for them to be on. As long as your crossbar is flat and you've got this torqued down to where you heard that pop and it's torqued down to spec, it's not going anywhere. Now we're going to show you how we got this installed, but before we do, I want to show you one more really what I think is a crucial accessory whenever you're working with a taller vehicle and any type of rooftop accessory, and that's this item here called the Moki doorstep. It's a small, compact item. You just simply deploy the hook. We're going to hook it right in there on the door, and what this is going to allow me to do is it's going to give me a 400-pound capacity platform to get up closer to my rooftop accessories. Now, this is going to help with loading, unloading, securing, and organizing. If you can imagine for a moment, you've got a large cargo box up here, and you might want to get one or two items out of it. Well, rather than being way down here and just reaching up and feeling around, I can actually get up, see inside of it, make sure that I'm leaving it organized when I'm done, and making sure that I've got it secured and latched when it's all through. So I do always recommend a Moki doorstep along with any type of rooftop accessory. Now let's take a look at exactly how we got this installed. Now as you can see behind me, we've already got one crossbar set up. We're going to walk you through installing the other one. They do install exactly the same. So really, this system consists of two main components, the crossbar itself and the towers that it goes onto. Now we've got it turned over upside down here. We've already installed one side of it. We're going to go ahead and get this end installed. Again, it's going to work exactly the same way. We're going to start by removing our end cap here. And once we pull that off, we've got this whole T-slot here. That is where this piece on the tower is going to be mounted. Now, this piece can be tightened down onto the tower using that hole right in there. This strap is going to be wrapping around our rails and tightening down, and that can be tightened and loosened through that hole right there. But first we're going to get it mounted onto the bars here, and we're going to do that simply by sliding this piece through the T-slot. Making sure, of course, that the outside of the tower is facing the outside of the bar, because we're going to need to reach that for all of our adjustments. Once it's on there, I'm leaving it loose to be adjusted while it's on the roof. I'm going to replace my end cap so it doesn't pop off. And now we're going to go ahead and take it up on the roof of the vehicle and get it seated. Now, if you have a friend to help you mount this, that does make it easier, but I think you'd be perfectly capable of doing this on your own. It's an aluminum bar, so it's really lightweight. And once you're up here, what you're going to want to do is maneuver it so that the rubber strap is going underneath the bar, as such. We're going to make sure it gets seated up here on the feet. And what I'm doing is, because really on the 4Runner, you really don't have a lot of space up here. It only allows you to go up to about the middle of the second row for the front bar. So we're going to, just for simplicity's sake, get this installed as far to the front mount as we possibly can. And now that we've got this side in place, we're going to go around there, make sure our strap goes under the rail, and get those seated. So we got this point loosened up enough that we've got enough slack on our rubber strap that we can reach around underneath. We're going to seat this metal bar right here in this position here, where there's this kind of like little cradle for it. Get it into place there. Now the next step I'm going to take is, again, we left everything loose, so I can maneuver the bar back and forth a little bit. I'm going to get my measuring tape, and on each side I'm going to make sure that this measurement is the same, so that we know that we have an equal overhang on each side and our crossbars are even. Once I get that, I'm going to go ahead and tighten it down through that hole there. Follow it up by tightening down our rubber straps onto our rails through this hole right here. Now, your rooftop system is going to come with this special torquing tool from Yakima. So once we have it tightened down to spec, we're going to hear a pop. So we're going to first tighten down our bar. There we go, that's torqued down enough. And then here we're going to tighten down our feet so that they're properly wrapped around our rails. We got that down as well. Now, before we put our end cap on and really finish up with our installation, I want to talk a little bit about that Yakima SKS system. If you're going to use that same key system and replace the lock cores, this is where it would be replaced, going right into there. And you can use that to lock each of your towers and keep your crossbars secure. But this is going to pop on really very simply, just like that. If you have the SKS system, you'll be able to lock it from there. It'll keep your crossbars and towers locked in place, and you can use that same key system with any of your Yakima accessories as well. So there's a look at the Yakima TimberLine Roof Rack system with 50-inch crossbars on our 2024 Toyota 4Runner. I'm Curt with eTrailer. Thanks for stopping by.